Welcome to another edition of Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys Podcast, with your host, Brandon Morrell.
Hey y'all, this is recording artist Lauren Anderson, and you're listening to a grand slam of music, sports, and entertainment. It's the award-nominated Backstage Pass podcast with Brandon Morrell on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network. Stream the show anytime at the sportsguyspodcast.com and on iHeartRadio Podcast. You can also stream on thwn.org.
And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. Busy day full of shows right before the Thanksgiving holidays. And, of course, the Christmas releases right around the corner. We'll be accurate on that, too, coming up in December. Brandon Morrell here, KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network, and out there, thwn.org. And our friends at the Sports Guys podcast.com. And, of course, anytime on iHeartRadio podcasts out there. Right in the middle of the thick of things, the voice competition is going on there on NBC, which is exciting times. We just had Corey Kennedy a few weeks back. And you know what? I just keep sending emails. You never know who you're going to get coming up in here. She's still in the competition, and hopefully she'll continue to kick ass and take names out there too as well. Lauren Anderson to the program. She's on The Voice. Lauren, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. I'm excited to be here chatting with you. Thanks for having me.
You got it too. Well, tell me about that kind of out of the gate, that typical question you get asked about, being involved in the competition, kind of that who, what, when, where, why. Was it one of those things you were motivated to do, or was this kind of one of those things somebody was like, you know what, you need to audition for that? And what's the experience been like for you so far?
Okay, so I've auditioned for The Voice an embarrassing amount of times. Back in the day, I used to do the live, like the open calls, which I don't think they definitely aren't doing those anymore. And, I would occasionally get there's a couple steps before you get to the blind audition, and I would occasionally get, a step or two closer, but I never got anywhere. And then actually 8 years ago, I did almost get a chance to audition for the blind. I went out to LA in 2018, and then I was supposed to be on season 15, and the teams were full by the time it got to my turn to audition. So I was sent home and didn't get an audition or anything. And I kind of closed this chapter. I was like, all right, well, maybe that's just not for me, and it would kind of hurt me a little bit every time I'd be at a show and somebody would come up to me and be like, you should really try out for The Voice. And then about a year ago, I got an email and they asked me to come in and audition again. And I thought, yeah, you know what? Let's go see what's going on. And I am very, very glad I did. I'm glad to be here. It's been like a wild ride.
Yeah, and I think that, as you mentioned too, since the blinds too, which is really cool because you never know what coach is going to turn around and how many chair turns you're going to get on something like this. Talk about just that taking the stage for the first time, going through the blinds again, and then the four Hall of Fame coaches. They've done it all in the music industry. Kind of what was going through your mind on who you were going to pick as a coach once the chairs were turned. And then that coaching is so invaluable these days because you look at something like that too, and you're getting just top rated music advice from some of the top professionals in the business who have been there, done that, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, wanting to pick people's brains is like a big part of the industry, and people are so guarded by the information that they learn. It's rare that you get to be in a situation like this where you just have like you said, like four incredible rock stars who are just giving you free advice. Like it's wild. So on the day of my blind, I was the last person to audition on day 3. And so I was waiting around, sitting there all day, listening to all of my friends audition and kind of knowing that the teams were starting to get either fill up or get real close to being full. So I made a point to not focus on who had how many spots on whose team or who, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to know any of the details because what I knew, I needed to go in there and just sing and just have fun with the song. And so I went out there and my very first note is this just like big aggressive scream. And I put that in there to like, hopefully get some chairs to turn. And of course, nobody turned. And so at that point, the crowd was like, just a lot of fun to like play off of. So at that point, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get a chair turn, but I'm having a lot of fun with this crowd. So I kind of just went ahead and just enjoyed myself and just like had as much fun as I could. And then on my very, very, very last note, Snoop turns around and we kind of have this fun, like I point at him, he points at me. We kind of had this moment and it just it felt real good.
Talk about just growing up on a different genres of music, because we did a lot of country artists here on the program, and I continue to do that. But you got a little bit of everything in your music, and I wanted to kind of pick your brain a little bit on what you grew up on too a little bit, and kind of what artists really influenced you.
Yeah, so I grew up in Chicago, or right outside of Chicago, and so soul music, blues music, rock was a big influence. I also listened to a lot of pop. I listened to a little bit of everything, but I think the most common thread in all of what I was drawn to, especially growing up, was I loved big female voices. Any singer that just got up there and just gave it her all. I listened to the Pointer Sisters and Bonnie Raitt and Susan Tedeschi and Etta James and Whitney Houston and Lauryn Hill. I just loved all of them. And so that kind of that was what lit me on fire. That was what drew me into wanting to sing.
Great artist there, no doubt, too. And I love that because you got Hall of Fame singers and that kind of thing. And I think, I drew the inspiration to start a radio show. Went to a concert one time and I was like, yeah, love the singing part, but I can't sing, but I know I have a pretty good voice for radio. So I got to start doing something, at least the radio side of it. So
yeah,
just the appreciation for music and what you guys do, because this is as you know, this is a hard industry to compete in and get involved, because there's so much great talent there in and around Nashville and pretty much all over the world now too. What's been, kind of walk me through some of those challenging parts when you get through and you put all this stuff together kind of in a nutshell. What's some of the most challenging parts of being an artist?
I mean, I think the longevity you have to have as an artist. My first album came out in 2014, and I'd already been doing music for a while, so I've been performing at least as an artist for at least 15 years. And nothing happens fast in the industry. And I think that really the best advice is just to keep going. If that's really what you want to do, if music is truly in your heart, you got to just keep hanging on through all the bad days and the good days. You just got to trust the fact that this is what you feel drawn to do. That's kind of, I think, the biggest takeaway I've learned.
And for the new artists out there, advice they need to heed, no doubt about it too. Well, I love this song. It's from Lauren Anderson out there too. Make sure you guys check her out on the social media out there. Boom, boom, boom. We cannot say it fast enough here on the show. Enjoy this one here. It is the Backstage Pass. Stay tuned.
Gasoline and flowers, it's your olfactory. That's when you knew that I was close. Terrifyingly beautiful and deadly. You walked near, though you know that you should go. swoon, and you know that I want it too. So boom.
Hey guys and gals, this is Robert Flores from MLB Network, and you're listening to the award-nominated Backstage Pass powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. It's a grand slam of music and sports talk on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area broadcasting network, and at thwn.org.
Are you looking for a great place to post your original songs for artists and record companies to hear? Are you looking for a place to find great music to fit your genre for your next project? HearMyDemo.com is an ever-growing database of multi-genre musical compositions by some of today's award-winning and rising writers. Hear My Demo is used by Grammy and Dove Award-nominated artists across all genres of music. Go now to HearMyDemo.com and start your account. Get started today. HearMyDemo.com, where songwriters, vocalists, and record labels connect.
Hey y'all, this is Texas recording artist Marcy Grace, and you're listening to the award-nominated Backstage Pass on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area broadcasting network, and on the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Stream the show anytime on thwn.org and on iHeartRadio podcasts.
Are you looking to increase your online presence? Are you searching for a new logo or company branding? Have you been considering more ways to reach the world with your business, ministry, or church's message? Barkley Music and Media is an award-winning design company that utilizes the latest technology while keeping the integrity of over 30 years of customer service. Web design, graphic design, multimedia, video editing, voiceover, commercials, logo design and branding, photography, and much, much more. See portfolios and testimonials online at www.barkleymusicandmedia.com or contact them today at 502-382-8299. Barkley Music and Media, your connection for the best in multimedia. Call today, 502-382-8299, or go to www.barkleymusicandmedia.com. Barkley Music and Media, integrity, technology, and design. www.barkleymusicandmedia.com.
Hey guys and gals, this is Megan Lindsay, and you're listening to the award-nominated Backstage Pass on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area broadcasting network, and on iHeartRadio podcast. Stream the show anytime on thwn.org and at the SportsGuysPodcast.com.
And back here on the show, KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area broadcasting network. Lauren Anderson, kind enough to join us here right there in the thick of things on The Voice, NBC's hit show. So walk us through this one because, as I mentioned, the music had a lot, just a great feel. There's some different things you can do vocally with your range. And this was one of the ones that I kind of felt like it really, everything. Acapella was good. Like I said, your crescendo, everything in there lyrically hit it. And it's just amazing how you rolled right into the chorus, and I love that you put three words together that are just fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, I wrote that one with a friend of mine, Lorene Flynn Smith, and we wrote it originally because she had she does a lot of pitching to movies and TVs, and there was they wanted something kind of bluesy and kind of sexy and kind of dark and kind of the true blood kind of feeling. That theme song. And so that, I don't know, Boom, Boom, Boom just kind of rolled out and very quickly became one of my favorite songs.
I was listening to some of the previous record, Love on the Rocks. Got a chance to check out some of that album too, which was 2023, I believe, or 2021 when it came out there. Great title track for a song. Let's talk about a little backstory of that one.
Yeah, so that one I wrote, I had the chorus idea. I was working on one song one night and was thinking about this guy that I shouldn't have been thinking about. And all of a sudden the chorus of Love on the Rocks just popped in my head, but then I got stuck with it. So I actually brought it to, again, Lorene Flynn Smith and another friend, Sandy Ramos. Sandy wrote the Chicks' Let It Rip back in the 90s. And so I finished the song with those two ladies, and it was kind of funny because then once we finished it, I was like, oh, this is a fun song, but is it too boring? Which is kind of crazy now that I think that, because all of a sudden it became the title track of the album. And the next thing I know, that album debuted at number 14 on the Billboard Blues charts. It got picked up by a bunch of Spotify editorial playlists, is still streaming, and has won a couple other awards. And actually I partnered with a local whiskey company called Guidance Whiskey. And so, we released that song together, partnering Love on the Rocks. And so that song really changed my life in a big way. And it literally started with me just being caught up in some guy I shouldn't have been caught up with.
The truth comes out where songs come from, no doubt. I love that too. Some guy you shouldn't have been caught up with.
Yeah.
Another one off there too was really cool. You mentioned that Chicago kind of feel there too, and I love Chi-Town out there too. Love the fact, one of my favorite cities to travel to. And I'm going to ask you in a little bit, Cubs, White Sox, but I'm pretty sure Cubs, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know Wrigley Field had to be the spot because that's my favorite spot to watch an MLB game. We're going to build on that on the sports side of things a little bit later. Back to Chicago, featuring Mike Zito off there. Talk about this one for me.
Yeah, I wrote that during the pandemic. I gave my, so I was supposed to go on like a big 2-month tour. And then all of that got canceled, right, in spring of 2020. And so I put myself on a songwriting challenge, and I wrote a song a day for a month. And that was one of the ones I wrote. And again, I was like, this is a cool song, but it needs some flair. And Mike Zito is actually a buddy of mine that I've opened for him a couple times and played shows with him. And I send it to him just to he's so busy, but just let's see, you never know if you don't ask, right? So I send it to him, and he was nice enough to send me back a guitar track and allow me to let him be a feature on the song. And it's now, again, one of my favorites. So thank you, Mike Zito.
Good stuff there. Burn It All Down, the next collection of songs that came out there. It was 2022 with this one. A lot of collaborations on there. I thought the one that really drew it to me was not just that title track, but and we'll talk about that one in a second, but Zombie Blues. I don't know if you get asked about this one all the time. Albert Castiglia, too, is another household name, too, in the music industry. How did this collab come about?
Yeah, Albert Castiglia is another buddy of mine. And actually, Mike and Albert are touring right now with the one and only Bill Murray. Because, right, how exciting is that? They actually just came through and played at the Ryman here in Nashville. But yeah, Albert, again, I wrote the song Zombie Blues. I'm a big zombie nerd. And I just, again, was like, I need some flair. And so I called up Albert, and again, he was like, yeah, I dig it. Here's a track. And I mean, it's just, the music industry is tough, and it really makes or breaks it knowing some just good quality people like Albert and Mike.
And how important is it? You mentioned that it's so different for everybody too, and it's so tough to break through. But it's also trying to yourself staying true to who you are as an artist by putting out what you believe in the songs, whether it's something you write or it's something you get pitched, and just really staying true to yourself and not trying to be something that you're not. But at the same time, you're staying authentic to what you're writing to, and it's okay because I believe in different music coming out. There's a little bit of that variety is a spice of life for different fans out there.
Yeah, it's so tricky, right? Because there's benefits to following the crowd, right? Humans, we do well in groups. There's an evolutionary purpose for that. But at the same time, you don't want to just go with the crowd because that gets boring and then you kind of lose yourself. So I feel it's you got to find that balance, right? Of finding what works for you that the crowd's doing, but then also, like you said, you got to stay true to yourself. And I think a lot of the finding your voice, especially in music, is just it just takes time, right? It takes you putting out a lot of music that then you look back and you're like, well, that wasn't me. That was me trying to be who I thought I should be. And it's really just a lot of trial and error. I think a big thing I hear from a lot of younger or newer artists is that they have these songs, but they just don't feel like they're ready to release them yet. Just release the music, put it out. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. You're hopefully going to keep growing and eventually not like the way that old songs sound anymore. But that's the whole point, right? Is to just put the music out and then move on from it, grow from it, and learn from it.
Yeah, and like I said, you're going to hit. Not everything has to be that number one hit out there to make somebody feel something. Music is therapy, no doubt, too. Love this one. We're going to play it here. Lauren Anderson again, the Backstage Pass, again, currently on that NBC hit show, The Voice. So make sure you guys check it out, which I know you're doing already. I mean, that's just one of those things out there because we love those hit shows. Season 28, hard to believe. They've already announced like a season 29 selection of judges. It never ends with that show, and it never will when it comes down to that great hit TV series. Time to love again here on the Backstage Pass. Coming right back. Stay tuned.
Darling, please, I see you looking at me. I didn't mean to cause a scene. Just want you to know what I mean. I'll let you in, and you spit me out. I don't know why I care when you've never truly been there. And been in love, so how can I love again when I never even began? But you felt like something new. I thought you'd finally be the one. When times got tough, you wouldn't run. And I just want to love someone who knows who I am without an agenda or plan. And I wanna let someone in, someone who cares for my soul, someone who feels like home. I just wanna love again. And I just want someone to love, someone who knows who I am without an agenda or plan. And I wanna let just wanna love again.
Hey y'all, this is Nashville recording artist Sunny Sweeney, and you're listening to the best in music and sports, the award-nominated Backstage Pass podcast on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network. Stream anytime on the sportsguyspodcast.com and on thwn.org. You can also listen anytime on iHeartRadio Podcast.
Is your home or business in need of a fresh look? Right Flow Pressure Washing and Lawn LLC is more than just pressure washing, providing professional cleaning for homes, commercial buildings, parking lots, roof cleaning, gutter cleaning, and so much more, including lawn service and landscaping. Our mission here at Right Flow is to exceed the needs of all our customers while providing all of our services at an affordable rate. We're committed to going above and beyond where the job is done right. Give your property the care it deserves. Call Right Flow today at 409-363-2565 or go to rightflowwashandlawn.com.
Hey folks, this is Australian country star Andrew Swift, and you're listening to the award-nominated Backstage Pass on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network, and on the sportsguyspodcast.com, and anytime on iHeartRadio Podcasts and at thwn.org.
And back here on the show, KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network, and our friends thwn.org, iHeartRadio Podcast, and the sportsguyspodcast.com. So when you mention this one, it's always, you're right. It's we can go through so many stages of loving someone in life and in general at best. And then, of course, things work out sometimes they don't. But we always have to remember love is so important. And you really explained it in this song very well. To love again is very important.
Yes. Yeah. And to constantly find a way to love again, you know. Sometimes it's just a matter of finding the right people or just like, again, finding the authentic you, right? You're not going to find love if you're not being true to yourself.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing there too, is like I said, we all need that, especially in today's world that is just so negative out there too. I never talk politics on this show, but I tell you, I don't even watch the news much anymore. It's so sad and
tough.
It's rough.
It's tough.
Hey, the single this year I really enjoyed getting into. Really cool. Tracy Perrin's Seasons Change. This was a really cool time to kind of hear a good country song out there too. Came out in April of this year. Dive into that one for us.
Yeah, that was a fun one to write because I released it with Tracy, and then we both wrote that song, and she's a good friend of mine. So, you know, when we got together to write that song, the first like hour and a half of our co-write was us just griping about life. And we kind of came across this concept of like, instead of running away from all the problems, like just let it rain, you know, and just kind of just like feel all of the ups and downs, because they're ups and downs, right? You're going to have a good day, and then you're going to have a bad day, and then you're going to have another great day, and then you're going to be in the dumps again. And instead of just trying to only focus on the good days, just why don't you just feel it all? You know, it's all part of it. And that's kind of where Seasons Change came from. And it also was just a really cool moment for me, because since that song came out, my life has drastically changed. So it's been very like, it's felt very real for me, you know, like seasons always change. When that came out in April, I hadn't been on The Voice. I hadn't won I just recently won a Josie Music Award for Best Vocalist of the Year. And it just goes to show like life is just, you know, let it go around the corner, right? Because who knows what you're going to find around the corner.
It does too. And like I said, you're right about when the winds go, the seasons do change. And one of those songs that timing is everything. Hey, let me ask you about dream stages to step on. A lot of people will say that Grand Ole Opry, you mentioned one, the Ryman, things like that. There's many more out there, from the ones you've already stepped on to what you want to accomplish left in your career. Tell me what's kind of on that bucket list for stages.
I mean, the Ryman is definitely a big one. I think that's a number one for me. And then, you know, there's a lot of venues that are similar to the Ryman, you know, size wise. But the Ryman is just such a like, God, I would love to play a show at the Ryman. That's my number one.
I went this past year, was the CRS event, doing the show live from Country Radio Seminar at the Omni, and got invited over to one of those VIP parties, and was kind of cool to catch it for the first time. And it was man, what a place to catch a show at the Ryman. Chase Matthew had performed.
Wow.
Too.
Yeah.
It was just phenomenal. Love to go back. Would love to see you on stage there too, to take all that into at the same time. Did I read somewhere, and this is, I know, like I said, hearsay stuff. Maybe I read it somewhere else. Maybe I didn't. Who knows? But one of your favorite moments was you got to open for Beth Hart in Kansas City. And I just do our homework here on the show. Talk to us about that moment and someone you follow for a long time.
I mean, you've really done your homework. I'm impressed. Yeah, back in 2016 in Kansas City at the Uptown Theater, which is actually one of those venues like the Ryman, that just has a great vibe and a lot of history. And I got to open for her, and then I got to kind of sit up in the rafters on the side of the stage and watch her show. And it was just like this cool moment where like she puts everything into her shows, which is something that I am constantly striving to do, is just constantly put my heart and soul and all of my sweat and tears and just feel it on stage, so that anyone else who needs to feel that doesn't feel so alone. And I feel like Beth Hart, I mean, she doesn't end a show without being drenched in sweat. And I feel like that's the sign of she is working. And it was so exciting to be able to open for her.
Well, back to that record too, Burn It All Down. Tell us about that title track and how much fun it was to put that one together.
Yeah. So actually, fun story. So Burn It All Down is the fake pre-story to Chris Stapleton's Midnight Train to Memphis, which ended up being my audition song, my blind audition song. So years ago, I was learning that song for a Chris Stapleton tribute show, and I realized that he never tells you why he got sent to jail in that song. And the songwriter part of me was like, well, we need to make that story. And so I started thinking to myself, if I went to jail, what would send me to jail? And at the time I was bartending and serving at this place that I just was miserable at. And so I decided to make a fake story about a bunch of servers in this podunk old small town bar who were just sick of all the BS and decided one day to just burn it all down. And it became the title track off of my album.
Bad work experience creates a tune. I love that too. And we all have those days.
We all do.
From different places, because sometimes we do not like our job, even though those jobs do pay the bills. But what a way to get a song out of something like that too as well. Also off of there too, we've talked about Zombie Blues and some of the other ones. I loved another collab you had called Hit the Spot. Tell us all about this one too off that record, which was another one of those songs caught my attention.
Yeah, that was with John Salloway, and him and a buddy of his, Adam, came over and John had that riff, and I don't know, and we just kind of started just talking about, I don't remember where Hit the Spot came from, but it kind of just, that song just kind of like rolled out really easily that day. It felt like something that was waiting on the tips of our tongues to be written. And that one's a lot of fun. Yeah.
All right, another collab. So I'm digging here. I told you we do the homework here on the show. Another collab, because it's always fun to do, and I love because you've got just a little bit of everything you can do with your voice. Justine Blazer was on with me back when I started this 2019 with a show. She'd come on a couple times.
Oh wow!
Another tremendous artist and another tremendous songwriter. Ain't no cure like the blues. Tell us about this one. Justine's a firecracker. She is, no doubt.
She is. Yeah, she's a lot of fun. So her and I got together to write that song, and we came across that concept because we were just like, she had actually just stopped drinking alcohol, and we kind of talked about the idea of like all of the vices we have to try to make ourselves feel better. And we were like, but music is kind of what we go back to in a lot of ways. And then both of us are, blues adjacent artists. And so we were like, how about Ain't No Cure Like the Blues? Like, that's our hook right there. We wrote it, and then we sat on it for a year. And then the two of us were like, why don't we make this a collaboration? We ended up going down to Muscle Shoals to record that, and made a video together here in town. And yeah, that one's been a lot of fun.
A lot of cool collabs. Well, I know the show itself, your episode has not been released for this whole knockout stage, so I can't wait to see what's next. And I know it's just on a process now where they go through this and get to the lives. What would it mean to you to get that and once the America finds out too, those episodes
Right.
coming up, getting to that lives and getting down, I think, what is it, the final 12? They have each coach has 4 per team or something like that, 3 per team to the
Yes,
lives.
16, I think, is the playoffs.
Yeah, and singing for America on those lives, just that moment,
Yeah.
what would that mean to you?
You know, I've been doing this for so long, and it's so easy to feel like you're not being heard, you know? And especially for girls, you know, the older we get, there's kind of that narrative that our voice is not as listened to. And I just feel like if I got there, it would just kind of finally be a moment where I feel like America sees me. You know, I've been grinding for so long and just putting everything into this career because I want to, because it's my choice. But it would be really nice to feel like people are seeing the grind, you know? I think that's what that would mean to me.
Yeah, you definitely want that to pay off. That's one of the big
Yeah.
things there too. And you love something so much. I've said the same thing about this radio show. You keep it going, and at some point you break through. And just the ability to tell stories as you guys do through your music. I like to do it here and just telling the stories about the artist and the song here on the very same show. Let's have a little fun with this one. I tell you, just going to Nashville, one of my favorite cities, and we work so much when we get there. We don't get a chance to get out a lot, but when we do, I'm all about Italian food, like in Nashville or something like that. We're getting out to the hot spot to go catch whatever I can catch out there too. So many great restaurants. It's like, I feel like it's a test market for the different types of genres of foods out there, cuisine. What do you like when, like, on the town, whether it's on Broadway, away from Broadway, in a different city? Where's your kind of like dining spots at?
You know, there's 2 pizza spots on the west side. I'm over on the west side, and one of them is called Nikki's Coal Fire, and it has some of the best coal fire pizza. And then there's another one called Midnight Oil that's in the near the Nations. And those are kind of my 2. I love those spots. They've got good food.
Never a dull change in Nashville when it comes to finding something. I found one in Germantown called 312 Pizza. It was like,
oh yeah, that's the Chicago spot.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
another one of those you would know, because that's a good
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
And I'll tell you, wasn't much for deep dish, but man, when I put, like I said, tasted that, I went back for seconds. He goes, "You're gonna have at least 2 slices." I'm like, "No, one will be enough." Hey, 2 slices, and it was pepperoni, and it was actually pretty damn good.
nice. Oh
When
yeah.
it came down to it too. All right, hobbies away from music. When not doing music, whether it's shopping, hanging out with friends, playing a sport, playing another instrument, or whatever, hanging out with family. What do you like to do?
Well, I don't know if you can hear. I've got a dog barking in the other room, and him and I go on a lot of hikes. He gets me out of the house for sure. I really like reading. I like gardening in the summer. I'm a big craft nerd. I actually, for my shows, I make guitar string jewelry. I make used guitar string jewelry, and I sell them at my merch table on the show, on the road. So I don't know, just getting creative in a lot of different ways is kind of my jam.
I like that too. Good jam to have too, no doubt about it too. Let's talk a little bit about this one. If you were not a working musician, what other career path might you have followed?
Well, I don't know if this counts because it's still music related, but so my master's is in music therapy. And so for a while, actually, before I really dove headfirst into music full time, I was a music therapist in Kansas City on a pediatric unit. And so I probably would still be doing that. And actually, I still do similar. I'm not an active therapist, but I do a lot of songwriting with veterans still. I do still like some music therapy adjacent things.
Well, it's a great story too, and I wish you the best of luck continued in this competition as the episodes unfold over the next few weeks, and hopefully get to the lives and singing in front of America on those live shows, not just what we've heard so far, which is fantastic. I love it out there too. And the current single, Seasons Change, and I know there's more coming up, regardless of whatever happens on this competition. And, of course, going into 2026, and there's probably a lot of unfinished business and a lot more music you're ready to release too, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm actually literally was just tracking some Christmas vocals. Before the end of the year, I'm going to be dropping a Christmas single, so people can look out for that.
I like that. And is there a website out there they can go to just to get more information besides your other socials? What's that website?
Yes, sir. It's laurenandersonmusic.com.
You heard it right there from her. Hey, we appreciate the time here on the program. Hope you enjoyed the chat. Lauren Anderson, check her out across all the social media and all the great music out there for DSP, for digital streaming. Come back anytime, my friend. Best of luck in the competition. Looking forward to many more highlights, too.
Thank you so much for having me. Good chatting with you.
Got it. Lauren Anderson here on the Backstage Pass. Of course, more great shows coming up. KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network, and our friends, thwn.org, and powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. I love zombie movies, and I'd say if you're on television, time to watch some of those tonight, too, as well, especially. I watched a bunch for Halloween, so definitely that's the best time to catch them, too, and, of course, on streaming networks out there. We'll talk to you guys soon. God bless. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Hey, y'all. This is recording artist Kelsey Main, and you are listening to the Grand Slam of music, sports, and entertainment. It's the award-nominated Backstage Pass podcast with Brandon Morrell on KYBN 98.1, your Bay Area Broadcasting Network. Stream the show anytime at thesportsguyspodcast.com and on iHeartRadio podcasts. You can also stream at thwn.org.